Hey everybody. Okay, I've got another extra credit assignment for you. This one is on Shamatha and Vipassana. Okay, before I do though, just checking in. As you can see, I'm in the barn like I usually am. I've got a microphone though today, so hopefully the sound is a lot better. If you have any feedback about that for me, let me know. Okay, so Shamatha and Vipassana. Those are words to describe two different facets of meditation. They're traditional words that come out of the East. And what I want to do today for your extra credit assignment is I want to tell you what those things mean, at least, and this is purely from my point of view. This is just my experience of it and what I've kind of come to gather about these two different facets of meditation over time. I'm going to talk to you about what those two things mean, and then I want to give you an experience of what they actually are for you, and as a way to sort of invite you to practice with these things over the next few days and for the rest of your life if you choose to. Okay, so traditionally in East, in Buddhist meditation practice, there are these two divisions called Shamatha and Vipassana. Shamatha is, to make it really simple, Shamatha is essentially concentration. It's the practice of concentration. And so what you're doing in Shamatha practice is you're focusing on something. So that something might be traditionally like an object of some kind. It could be like a candle flame or just like an apple, something like that. Could also be a mantra, other things of that nature. So in Shamatha practice, you're focusing on something. You're focusing all of your attention on something with the intention that you will exclude the processes that are going on in your mind and the conditioned stuff that's going on in your mind, so that you can be here and present with that object. And traditionally speaking, the benefits of Shamatha are, on one level, relaxation, a sense of ease, a sense of peace, these kind of things. And, back in the day, they would talk about, and maybe still do, about gaining special powers through your ability to concentrate, so sort of like special spiritual powers. And with Shamatha, in terms of conditioned mind, so you're attempting to exclude conditioned mind. You're trying to create a space where you're pushing it out and you're focusing on something, and the focus of your attention is keeping conditioned mind out of your mind so that you're not influenced by it. Okay? Vipassana is very different from Shamatha. Vipassana is about awareness. It's not about focus and about attention, it's about awareness. And with Vipassana practice, what we're trying to do is we're trying to include instead of exclude. So we're trying to include an awareness of, what's going on in our body, what's going on in our emotional states, what's going on in our mind, what's going on in our perceptions, like what we're perceiving, what we're aware of, this kind of thing. In terms of conditioned mind, Vipassana is designed to include conditioned mind. So you're allowing conditioned mind there where you can see it and you can become aware of it. The benefits that are talked about in terms of Vipassana practice, the main one is wisdom and clarity. So you're bringing awareness to things, and so you become clear about the nature of those things and how they affect you and what's going on and all stuff like that. So in terms of my own practice, largely what I'm doing is a Vipassana practice, but there is a Shamatha element to it. And if you have an awareness of the difference between the two, and this is something I've been playing with myself over the past few years, if you have an awareness of the difference between the two, you can choose to apply the one or the other depending on what's going on. So for example, like let's say that you're really triggered by something's going on, and you're getting really distracted by all the stories and stuff that are going on in conditioned mind about what they've done to me and how wrong that was, or whatever the story is. So there's a lot of distraction happening. That's a really good time for Shamatha, because you need to focus. You need to get out of all that conditioned stuff and really focus on what's here. Get here through the power of your concentration, and use the power of your concentration to break through that all that conditioned gunk that's getting put there so that you can be here again. On the contrary, if let's say that you are you're really caught up in something like a work task, or your awareness has really shrunk, and you're not particularly aware of what's going on with you. So like maybe you're in some kind of survival pattern. You're doing a conditioned behavior. Something has been going on, and by God, I'm going to do this to take care of it. And you've kind of lost awareness of the context this is happening in and how you're being driven by conditioned mind and that kind of thing. That's a really good time for Vipassana. That's a time to stop and step back and broaden your awareness and include everything that's going on in your awareness so that you can see what's actually happening and make clearer choices and not be driven in the way that you're being driven. In terms of meditation, what we're doing, it has, at least in the way that I practice meditation, there's elements of both. So for sure there's a shamatha element. I'm focusing on the breath. I'm focusing my attention on the breath. I'm attempting, when my attention wanders, I want to let that go and bring it back. That's you could say, shamatha practice. At the same time, however, I want to be aware of what's going on. I don't want, this is how I practice anyway, I don't want to just stick with that, because the tricky thing about shamatha practice is when you get up and you get up off the cushion and you're no longer concentrating in that way, and if you haven't worked on being aware of all the conditioned processes that are going on, you're just going to get sucked in as soon as you get distracted. The advantage of the Vipassana way is you're actually addressing these conditioned patterns, you're seeing into them, and you're learning how to let them go so that they no longer affect you. And in the class, the conversation that's happened in the class is all about that. It's all about bringing awareness to these different processes. So anyway, during meditation, there's this shamatha element. I'm focusing on my breath. When the attention wanders, I'm bringing it back. But there's also this Vipassana element where I want to be able to see what arises and practice with what arises. See into the nature of it. See how it comes to be. I'm watching how my mind works. And what kinds of things attract my attention. Stuff like that. Okay? So that's sort of an overview. So let me see if I can give you an experience right now. So first off, let's practice with shamatha. Now, if I were doing this exercise live, what I would do is I would do there's going to be two parts. Would do the first part, and then I would say to people, well, what did you notice about that? And people would share, what that was like for them and stuff. And then I would do the second part and do the same. Because this isn't live, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do both of them back to back, and figure that if you'd like to, and I hope you will like to, you can share about your experiences in the class, and we can process about it afterwards instead of as we go along. Okay? Okay, so shamatha. So what I'd like for you to do is to pick some object to focus on. That could be any number of things. If you want to continue looking at the video, you could pick something in the video, like a spot on the wall behind me in the barn, or there's the end of the weed eater that's sitting there within view. You could pick that. Or if you prefer, you don't need to watch me while you do this. You just need to be able to hear me. You could pick something that's in the room with you, something in front of you, like a spot on the floor, or put a pen or a pencil in front of you, or something like that. So let me give you just a moment to pick something. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, we're going to practice concentrating on something. We're going to practice focusing the attention on this object. And I'll give you not a very long period of time, just a number of seconds actually. And I'll wait to see kind of how it feels, to see how long that will be exactly. But during that time, see if you can focus on that object and keep your attention focused on that object. As soon as your attention moves away from that object, even for a moment, don't worry about what it is that's captured your attention or anything like that. Don't need to try to bring awareness to anything, but just as quickly as you can, immediately if you can, as soon as you recognize it, bring your attention back to that object. Okay? All right, everybody pick something. All right, ready, steady, go. Okay, very good. I'm dying to know what that was like for you, but I can't ask you. So let's take just a moment just to let that go. Just, just maybe move around just a little bit. Breathe. Okay. All right, so now let's practice Vipassana. So with this one, you're still going to have your attention on an object. Okay. It could be on the same object, it could be on a different object. The object could be your breath, which it could be with Shamatha also. It's just, I was sort of seeking something more tangible than that, more immediate. But it could be your breath. As you focus on that object, instead of trying to have as your intention to concentrate, see if you can expand your awareness and be aware of what all is happening in your body, in your feelings, in your mind, and so on. Now, you probably had that experience during the Shamatha part too. I did. I mean, I was certainly aware of things as things were happening. I was aware of my attention, trying to shift in different ways and stuff. And so there will be more of that also, but see if you can expand that even further and intentionally invite in like a broad experience. The difference between attention and awareness is something, sometimes I'll say it like this, it's like attention is like a point, it's like a laser beam that you can focus on a particular something. Awareness is more like a space or a field. It's a space that experience can happen inside of. They're two really different things. So the first one, the Shamatha, is really about focusing the attention. And this one is more about expanding the awareness and having a space for your experience to happen in, and just having that experience. So again, you're going to focus on the object, again, for a period of time, but then allow your attention to go to that space of awareness and just see what arises in your awareness in terms of what's going on in your body, in your feelings, in your mind, in your perceptions, and so on. Okay? And again, I didn't say this before, but I've said it with other videos and it deserves to be repeated. There's no right or wrong way to do this, okay? This is just an experiment. We're just seeing what happens. And then we're going to talk about it in the class, hopefully, and we can all get some clarity about this. Okay? All right, so let's prepare. Okay, ready, steady, go. Okay, very good. All right, good. So your assignment particularly is, to watch this video, have this experience, and share about it in the class if you're willing to do that. But we'll add an extra credit to the extra credit. And the extra credit to the extra credit is just play around with this in your life as you go through. Notice how you can concentrate, you can focus. You can get yourself here through the power of your awareness, of your focus of concentration. And notice how you can also you can also be in a place of awareness and observe what's going on inside of you, and have increase the clarity and of the experience that you're having. And you can see into conditioned mind and what's going on in conditioned mind, and other things, and what's happening with life, just as life is unfolding around you. So play around with that a little bit, and let me know what you see. Okay, thank you all. Thanks for showing up for this video. Thanks, as always, for your participation in the class. I'm really enjoying myself a ton, and I'm really, really grateful for the way you're showing up in the class and how you're jumping in and making it happen. Okay, take care, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the class.